Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a hero deck profile. So I'm super excited for this one because this deck is a super cool fusion-based deck that basically plays every kind of hero that is imaginable. Evil heroes, destiny heroes, elemental heroes, all of them, vision heroes. All of them are mixed into this deck, which is a really cool concept for this deck. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight on this. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting to request a deck profile every single month that you are a patron, or getting a signed card that I sign myself to send to you directly, which is a really cool reward for you guys. So, without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Elemental Hero Stratos basically is one of the starter cards in the deck besides Vision Hero Ferris, which is another really good starter card in this deck. But basically what this card does is when it's normal or special summoned, you get to add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. It also lets you destroy spells and traps on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control except this one, which is a really neat effect. It comes up very rarely, but if you're playing against something like Pendulums, sometimes you might do that. Then we play 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is a very versatile search card in this deck because if this card is special summoned, you can add a change quick play spell from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand except another copy of itself. And you can only use either effect of Elemental Shadow Mist per turn. Then we play a single copy of Elemental Hero Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. That's what everybody at my locals calls it, is Lil Squirt, which is a cute name for this card. Basically what this card does is when this card, shout outs to Easy Walker by the way, but basically what this card does is when this card is normal summoned, you get to target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard, except another Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, and special summon it. So it's kind of like a Monster Reborn, which is really cool to get you 2 monsters on the field. And this card is used for a fusion material of a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished. Then you get to draw 2 cards and discard a card, which usually you're going to Miracle Fusion summon this card away, so you can summon your absolute 0, which is a super cool card as well. Then we play a single copy of Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. Solid Soldier lets you, when it's normal summoned, you get special summon a level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand, and if this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by a spell effect, then you can target a hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, which is in fact a lot of people forget about with this card. We play a single copy of Honest Neos for our last Elemental Hero. Honest Neos does really good because basically with this card, you're going to be discarding it to make your monsters gain 2,500 attack, which is a really good effect. If your opponent attacks into you and they don't realize you have this card, it can net you a lot of games, which is really funny. For the Destiny Heroes, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious because this card did go to 2. I swear this card keeps going from 2 to 3 and 3 to 2 and 2 to 3, back and forth and back and forth. But I don't think it's, I feel like it's fine at 2. I don't feel like it needs to go back to 3. It kind of just makes you feel like, well, I'm not going to draw it now, which is fine. But basically what this card does is you can banish it from your graveyard to special summon a Destiny Hero Malicious from your deck. That's all it does. It gives you a lot of materials and a lot of synchro materials if you're playing in synchro decks, but really a lot of other decks use this card when it's at 3, and it's really weird at 3, but I feel like at 2 it's fine for heroes. Then we play a single copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. Destiny Hero Plasma is one of the cards you want to end in this deck. You have to tribute 3 monsters to summon this card, but it makes it so your opponent cannot activate their monster effects and negates the effect of all face-up monsters that your opponent has, which is really good. And then once per turn, it has a relinquished ability that lets you target a monster your opponent controls and equip to this monster, and it gains half the attack of the monster that's equipped to it. We play a single copy of Destiny Hero Celestial. Celestial is really good because it's good later in the game because it has the ability that when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it and a Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard to draw 2 cards, which is a really cool card effect. But you have to have no cards in your hand to activate this effect, which is still a pretty cool effect. I really like that effect to be able to get that extra draw too. Then we play 3 copies of Vision Hero Vion. For the Vision Heroes, Vision Hero Vion is a really good starter card because it has the ability that you can discard another hero monster to special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, you get to place a Vision Hero monster from your deck in your spell and trap card zone, which is a really good effect. Then we play 2 copies of Increase. Vision Hero Increase has the ability that you contribute, if this card's in your spell and trap card zone, then you contribute a you can tribute a hero monster to special summon this card, and if this card is special summoned from the spell and trap card zone, then you can special summon a level 4 or lower Vision hero from your deck, which is always going to be your Vision hero Vion. So Vision hero Vion has the ability that if it's normal or special summoned, which usually you're going to special summon it off your increase, that you can send a hero monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is usually going to be your copy of Malicious to be able to get its effect off, to be able to banish, to be able to put another material on the field. And it also has the ability that you can banish a hero monster from your graveyard to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, which helps you thin the deck just a little bit more, and it also gives you another fusion play, which is really cool. And for the last monster of the main deck, we're playing a single copy of Evil Hero Adusted Gold. Adusted Gold is an optional card. I know this card is extremely expensive for you guys, but it should getting a reprint sooner than later, probably within the next year, I would imagine. But for the moment, guys, if you don't want to play this card, you can actually drop out the Dark Calling and the Evil Hero Dusted Gold for like 2 copies of Nibiru if you want to play the Nibiru instead of this. But what this card does is you can discard this card to add a Dark Fusion or a card that specifically has Dark Fusion, which you're only going to be adding Dark Fusion from your deck to your hand. And that's pretty much all it does, is it gets you the Dark Fusion so you can go into the Evil Hero Malicious Bane, which is a really good boss monster in this deck, and I always end on that card. If you can get a hold of an Evil Hero Dusted Gold and a Malicious Bane, definitely do so. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's not the end of this deck. You can play the deck without Evil Heroes. It's not a big deal. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing, since it is a warrior deck primarily, we're going to be playing a single copy of Reinforcements of the Army. It lets us add a level 4 lower warrior monster, which something to keep in mind is this is actually a fiend monster, so you can't add it off of that effect. You have to add it off of like Stratos or your increase or something like that. Or not increase, but one of your other monsters. You have to add it off of that instead. Or E-Call. Or not E-Call, you can't, that's elemental heroes. But anyways, you get my point. We play a single copy of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives lets us special summon a elemental hero monster from our deck by paying half our life points, but you can only control one. You can't control a monster when you activate this effect, which is not that big of a deal. It's a good starter card, but it's just that one really good, hey, I drew it, kind of things in the late game. 1 copy of Polymerization to search off the Vision Hero Vion. 1 copy of Miracle Fusion to search off of our Sunriser. This card comes in super handy because if you can end on a absolute 0 and a mass change, then you can essentially board wipe your entire opponent mid-game, because you can end with the absolute 0 and a set mass change, flip it mid-turn, and then blow up all their monsters, and then go after all their spells and traps, because you're just going to pop them all in the back row, which is really cool to be able to just pop their entire field, which is nice. Then we play a single copy of Dark Calling. The Dark Calling is to search off of our Dusted Gold to be able to discard. Like I said, you can drop both of these for like 2 Nibirus, which would be a pair of Nibirus, which would really work in the deck if you're going first, or going second, I mean, which is the majority of the time. This build is going first, but you can build some builds that are going second builds for heroes, and that works just as well. Then we play 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is really cool as well because it lets you fusion summon a Destiny hero monster from your extra deck by sending the fusion materials from your hand or deck to the graveyard. And then for the rest of the turn, you can't summon monsters except dark hero monsters, which is not that big of a deal because the majority of the stuff we're playing is dark heroes. Then we play 3 copies of E-Emergency Call. I do really like the 3 E-Emergency Calls. Basically what these do is they let you add an elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand that includes elemental hero in his card name, which is really cool. I like that ability. We play plenty of elemental heroes in the deck. Basically, you're always going to summon or search Stratos off of this card. Then we play 3 copies of Mass Change. Mass Change is crazy good in this deck because basically what you do with this card is like I was saying before, if you have the copy of Absolute 0 on the field, when it leaves the field, you destroy all monster your opponent controls, and then you summon Masked Hero Acid off of it, and then you get to destroy all spells and traps. So basically it's a 1 card board wipe that just is like pseudo Lightning Storm in a way, if you will, which is really, really neat to be able to do, and I really love being able to do that to my opponent. It's super funny. Then we play 3 copies of Call by the Grave as well. Call by the Grave just stops hand traps while we're trying to go off on our first turn, which is really, really nice to be able to just stop my opponent and just make it so that I don't have to deal with them at all with their hand traps. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. I do actually play 3 trap cards in this build, which is something really interesting. So what I've noticed about heroes is they're kind of like a glass cannon. If you guys have ever played heroes before, you kind of realize that you put on a big board, but 1 Nibiru can kind of stop you, 1 Lightning Storm can stop you, anything can stop you. So the reason I'm playing this trap card is because of that. And the reason I'm playing it is I'm playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment in my build. Now, I know this might seem a little bit weird because it's like, man, you're trying to extend in this deck. But what happens when you extend so far and then you pass the turn and your opponent's like Lightning Storm? And it just destroys everything that you just worked so hard for because you have a Malicious Bane. You have Malicious Bane, Sunriser, Absolute or Dark Law on field, Dystopia, in like a Dread Decimator, and you have all that on the field. You scoop. So I mean, if you're gonna do that, you might as well play the 3 Judgments and go in the going first build because you can stop that one card that can just end the entire game. Now, this card's really neat. It's never dead because you always have half to pay if you have life points, which is really cool. And the majority of your hero monsters are really big, so that a lot of times your opponent's not going to be able to beat over them. And you already play a hero lives at 1, so you're already going to be paying half. So it's not that big of a deal to me to pay half. Now, if you don't want to play this and you want to go second, something that I highly recommend is Evenly Matched in the main deck, which is kind of weird. You might go, wait a minute. Think about it this way. If you can get your opponent set back that far with Evenly Matched, then it's cool because on the next turn, you're just going to pop off and you're just going to win the game because you just dropped Evenly Matched and you just pop off with the heroes and you win, essentially. So that's it for the main deck. That's my reasoning behind playing Solemn Judgment. You can drop this if you want to and play 3 Super Polys, play 3 Evenly Matched. Basically, this is here for like hand traps or tech cards or something like that you guys want to play in this position. But I really like the idea of playing the Solemn Judgment. It's really worked out for me really well playing the 3 Solemn Judgments in this format. So that's it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing a single copy of Evil Hero Malicious Bane, which is one of the reasons I even built heroes, because this deck is absolutely absurdly good. And basically what this card does is that you basically fusion summon this card with Dark Calling by banishing a evil hero and a level 5 or higher monster, which is always going to be your copy of Destiny Hero Malicious. It also has the ability that it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and then during your main phase, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls with less attack than or equal to this card's, and it gains 200 attack for each monster destroyed this way, and it can't declare it. Also, you cannot declare an attack for the rest of the turn except with hero monsters, which is not a big deal at all. One copy of Sunriser. Sunriser is really good too because it basically searches Miracle Fusion, and then when it attacks, declared involving hero monster you control, you can target a card on the field and destroy it, which is also really nice. One copy of your Absolute Zero. Also, the really nice thing is this card just takes 2 heroes with different attributes. One copy of Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is really easy to go into with Miracle Fusion because basically what it does is it destroys all monsters your opponent controls if this card leaves the field. 2 copies of Dark Law. This card's super easy to go into. It can really stop your opponent from doing all sorts of plays. If they start searching on their turn, they're going to go -1 card, and especially if you go first, they're going to start with 5 instead of 6, and then you have a Judgment set, and then you have a couple other negates, and you just stop your opponent from doing all sorts of shenanigans. One copy of Masked Hero Acid. The Masked Hero Acid has the ability that when this card is special summoned, you destroy all spell and traps on the field, and then all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack when it activates, which is crazy good because you can just, again, combo these 2 together, which is an old school combo that you put them both on the field or use the Masked Hero or Mass Change to send this one away to summon this, and then you just instantly get rid of everything that they have and then OTK them the next turn. One copy of Dystopia, it works with your Destiny Fusion. One copy of Dangerous, again, works with the Destiny Fusion. One copy of Vision Hero Adoration. This card comes up every so often because it takes 2 hero monsters. I usually make this with the 1-of Polymerization, or I make Vision Hero Trinity with the 1-of Polymerization because you just put 3 heroes into this card. And if you have 3 heroes in your hand that you just don't really want in your hand, then you can use them to summon this, and it can attack 3 times. I end games with this card so much because it doubles its attack, so it goes to 5,000, and it can attack 3 times during each battle phase, but it can attack your opponent directly. But basically, it's like 15,000 damage sitting on this card, which is absolutely crazy. If my opponent does force me to go second, then I summon this card usually and just OTK them. One copy of Extra Hero Dread Decimator. This card boosts your monsters up by 100 for each hero monster with a different name in your graveyard, and it makes them all inflict piercing damage, which is really funny with Vision Hero Trinity. Wonder Driver is just kind of here for the polymerization plays. Cross Crusader, you're going to make every single game. It just takes 2 warrior monsters, and then When it's link summoned, you can target a Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you contribute a Destiny Hero monster to add a Elemental Hero or a Hero monster with a different name from your deck to your hand, which is usually going to be your Dusted Gold, and you're usually going to bring back your Malicious off of this card to be able to go into those plays. And then my little surprise tech in this deck, now I know that you can't summon this every single turn, but with all 14 of these heroes, you have everything else covered. So I play a single copy of Appaloosa because I have one. If you don't have Appaloosa, you can take this out and play a Boral Sword, play a Boral Load, play any rank 4 that you want to play. You can play Avermax or anything. But again, the reason I'm playing this is I wanted to have a little bit more defense in my heroes instead of offense. The deck is really, really offensive and aggressive, which is really good, but you need sometimes that a little bit of negation, which this card really subsidizes really well, because if you summon something off the Extra Hero Cross Crusader, and you're mid-combo, and you have this on the field, like with Dread Decimator and another hero monster, maybe a copy of Malicious or something, you can link away the Malicious and the Dread Decimator to the graveyard and lose that maybe 400 or 500 attack points that you're gaining and the piercing damage on turn 1, make the Appaloosa, and then after you go into the Appaloosa, you have a Judgment set, and you can stop whatever shenanigans like a Lightning Storm with the Judgment, and then you can stop all their monster effects. You can stop 2 of their monster effects with the Appaloosa, which is really, really nice. So you have some options here. You have some really good options. That's why I think heroes are going to be a really good contender in the coming format. It's a really neat deck, but that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about this deck down in the comments down below. Tell me what you think about those tech cards with the Solemn Judgment and the Appaloosa, because they are really, really good cards to me when I play them in this deck. They really work really well for me when I play them in this deck, so definitely give them a try and see what you guys think. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.